Right now, you feel like you're watching this in real time. Live as it happens. You're not. Everything you are seeing already happened. The moment you're experiencing as now is actually a little bit in the past. And once you understand why, you can never quite trust the present the same way again. Let's start with something simple. Light. It's fast, almost unimaginably fast, but your brain is not. When light bounces off this screen and hits your eye, that's just the beginning. Your retina has to turn it into an electrical signal. That signal has to travel down the optic nerve. Then your brain has to process it, sort it, and build it into an image you can actually recognize. All of that takes time. Not a lot. Somewhere in the range of tens to hundreds of milliseconds. But it is never zero. Which means, by the time you consciously see anything, the actual event is already over. You are always looking at a world that has just barely finished happening. You felt this before without realizing it. Think about a thunderstorm. You see the lightning, and then a few seconds later you hear the thunder. That gap feels normal because you know sound is slower than light. But here's the unsettling part. There's a smaller version of that same gap happening inside your head. All the time, for everything. Sight and sound don't even arrive at your brain at the same speed. Your brain is quietly holding them, lining them up, and stitching them together so they feel simultaneous. That seamless present you're experiencing. It's edited, assembled. Your brain is a film editor working impossibly fast, and it never shows you the raw footage. Now, here's where it goes from strange to genuinely weird. Because if you're always a step behind reality, you should be terrible at anything fast. You should never be able to catch a ball. Think about that. A ball flying toward your face. By the time the image of that ball reaches your conscious mind, the ball has already moved. If you reached for where you see it, you'd always miss, grabbing at a spot it left milliseconds ago. But you don't miss. So how? The answer is that your brain cheats. It doesn't wait for reality and then react. It predicts. Your brain takes the slightly old information it has and runs the physics forward, guessing where the ball will be, and it shows you that guess. So the now you experience is not really a recording of the past. It's stranger than that. It's a prediction. Your brain's best guess about what the present probably looks like right now, built from information that is already old. Read that again. What you call the present moment is a controlled hallucination. An educated guess projected onto the world so smoothly that you never notice it isn't live. And usually the guess is right, so you never catch it. But sometimes the guess is wrong, and when it is, you get to see the machinery for a split second. Here's one you can test yourself. Look at an analog clock with a ticking second hand. The moment your eyes snap over to it, the very first second often seems to freeze. It looks like it lasts longer than the others. That's called chronostasis. What's happening is that while your eyes are moving, your brain briefly goes blind. It stops processing the blur. And then, to hide the gap, it backfills the missing time with whatever it sees when your eyes land. Your brain literally edits out the blackout and stretches the present to cover its tracks. You are watching your own brain fake continuity in real time. Now, I want to be honest with you because this is where a lot of videos oversell it. You may have heard the specific claim that you live a full half second in the past. That number comes from some famous and very controversial experiments by a scientist named Benjamin Libet. And decades later, researchers still argue about what those experiments actually proved. Half a second is probably too strong for most of what you perceive. But here's the thing. Even the careful conservative version is enough. Even if the delay is only a fraction of that, the core truth holds. You never, ever experience the true present. There is always a gap. Your brain is always building the moment slightly after it happened and dressing it up as live. So let's answer the question. Do you see the present or the past? The honest answer is neither, exactly. You don't see the past because your brain has already updated the old information with the prediction. And you don't see the present because the present is physically impossible to catch. It's gone before the signal even arrives. What you actually see is a guess about a present that no longer exists, assembled from a past you can't perceive directly. A useful, beautiful fiction that has kept your ancestors alive for millions of years. And here is the part we genuinely do not understand yet. We can measure the delays, we can map the prediction. But nobody can explain the last step, why any of it feels like anything at all. Why there is a smooth, seamless felt now happening for you, instead of just signals moving through meat in the dark? That question is still wide open. So the next time a moment feels perfectly, undeniably present, remember what it really is. Your brain, working in the dark, a beat behind the world, handing you its best guess and quietly whispering, "Trust me, this is happening right now." It almost never is. If that landed somewhere in you, stay with it for a second before you scroll. That pause, that little moment of noticing, is the most present you're ever going to get.